Welcome to my channel.
YouTube.
Okay, so today I'll be interviewing my boyfriend Dylan here for this Bach interview assignment.
Hi.
So before I actually begin the interview questions, I'm going to explain to Dylan what Bach flower remedies are. Bach flower remedies can help support balance of emotion to then allow the body to heal itself naturally. Bach remedies address 7 types of emotional states: fear, oversensitivity to influence, overcare of others, insufficient interest, despondency or despair, loneliness, and uncertainty. Bach flower remedies are made from 38 individual flower types. Each flower is intentionally used for one of the emotional states. Remedies are created by placing flowers in a bowl of water sitting in the sun. The theory of doing this is the flower changes the structure of the water, and the water is able to hold the structure of this vibration of the flower. This is then used to create the Bach remedy itself. A remedy is put into a dropper bottle. Drops can be placed under the tongue or into a glass of water. Remedies are then taken up to 4 times a day or until you feel better. So do you understand better now what Bach remedies are? Do you have any questions for me?
What's the difference between the Bach flowers and like herbs?
Herbs?
Yeah.
So Bach flowers use like the flower petals themselves for the remedy, and herbs, that's a different type of modality. Herbs are more leaves and stems, and those can be taken internally or used in cooking. But yeah, Bach flower just uses the flower itself.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions?
No.
Okay. Okay, so we'll go ahead and begin with our interview here. So my first question for you is, how have you been feeling lately?
Pretty good. Just
okay.
Maybe a little bit of anxiety, but
yeah. Where do you mostly experience your anxiety at in your life?
Well,
is it work related or at home?
It's like everywhere.
Okay.
But maybe more profoundly at work.
Yeah.
So. But it is everywhere. Oh.
Yeah. Oh shoot.
I think it's fine. It's still recording.
It's still recording.
Check your phone.
Yeah. I'll charge it a little bit.
Yeah.
So you said that you mostly struggle with anxiety at work then. How does that make you feel when you experience anxiety? Or I guess the better question is, when does your anxiety happen when you're at work?
Like whenever I'm put on a task, mostly by myself.
Yeah. Does anything else come up? Or is it mostly anxiety?
I think it's mostly anxiety.
Does it make you feel uncertain about tasks?
Yeah, it just makes me feel like uncertain about my abilities to do something, even though like I want to say that I'm like fully capable of doing it, but sometimes that anxiety fights against my confidence.
Yeah. So would you say that you have a lack of confidence in the moment? Okay. What else can I ask you? Is there anything else you want me to share with me about that? You said you experience anxiety mostly at work. Do you ever carry that over into like your home life?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, like whenever because I always want to do like things as efficiently as possible.
Yeah.
So like, I'll like try to come up with a plan, but my plan will be like kind of overwhelming in a way.
Yeah, and it's
like I'll just try to do too many things at one time and just get ahead of myself.
Yeah.
So.
And do you say that's just momentarily then that happens? You start to feel that way in the moment?
Yeah.
And then do you feel like after the moment's passed or after you got your task complete, you feel better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, would you also say that in the moment you tend to blame yourself?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Would you also say that you tend to set high standards for yourself, like especially at work, I would assume? And when you're at work, do you ever feel like you blame yourself even though there was a mistake done by another person?
Not unless I was working with that person, then no.
Yeah. Not unless you're like closely working with them?
Yeah.
Then that happens?
Yeah.
Okay. So what we're going to go ahead and do is go through this Bach flower questionnaire, and it's just going to help us narrow down which remedy would fit best for your needs. And I have a couple in mind, but we'll just quickly go through this. Do you ever feel like you hide your feelings behind a facade of cheerfulness?
A facade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever turn to work, food, alcohol, drugs when you're down?
No.
No, okay. Do you ever feel anxious without knowing why?
No.
Do you feel like you know why you're anxious?
Yeah, most of the time, yeah.
Okay. Do you ever get annoyed by the habits of others?
Maybe a little bit.
Okay. Do you ever focus on others' mistakes?
Not too much.
Okay. Do you ever neglect your own needs to please others?
Sometimes.
Okay. Do you ever find it difficult to say no?
No.
Okay. Do you ever second guess yourself?
Yes.
Do you ever seek advice or mistrust your own intuition?
Yes.
Do you ever often change your mind out of confusion?
Change my mind out of confusion? Yeah, I would say so.
Okay. Do you ever feel afraid that you might lose control of yourself?
No.
Okay. Do you make the same mistakes over and over?
Mostly no.
Okay. Would you say you ever have the need to be needed and wanted by loved ones closely?
Say that again?
Need to be needed and wanted by your loved ones closely?
No.
Okay. Often feel spacey and absent-minded?
No.
Okay. Overly concerned with cleanliness?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Feel unclean or physically unattractive?
Sometimes.
Tend to obsess over little things?
Sometimes.
Do you ever feel overwhelmed by responsibilities?
Yeah, maybe sometimes.
Don't cope well under pressure?
No.
Okay. Do you ever become discouraged with small setbacks?
Yes.
Easily disheartened when faced with difficulties?
Yeah, sometimes.
Do you ever feel skeptical of your own abilities? Okay. Do you ever feel hopeless or depressed?
Yeah, maybe sometimes.
Okay. Do you ever lack faith that things could get better in your life?
No.
Okay. Are you obsessed with your own troubles?
Not obsessed.
Okay. Are you ever suspicious of others?
Yeah.
Do you ever feel discontented and unhappy?
No.
Okay. Do you feel you're ever homesick for the way things were? Like thinking about the past
No.
more than the present? No. Do you ever often feel too tired to face like the work day ahead?
No.
Okay. Do you ever find it hard to wait for things? Or feel impatient?
No, not really.
Not often. Do you ever lack self-confidence?
Yes.
Do you ever feel inferior and become discouraged?
Sometimes.
Okay. Do you never expect anything but failure?
No.
Okay. Let's see. Do you ever get depressed without any reason?
No.
Okay. Do you tend to overwork and keep on in spite of exhaustion?
No.
Okay. Do you ever feel completely exhausted physically and or mentally?
No.
No. Do you often feel guilty when we're thinking about your work situation? Like, do you tend to blame yourself?
Yeah, sometimes.
Do you ever feel terror or panic?
No.
Okay. So, let's see. I have a couple ideas for your remedy to look into.
Okay.
So there's a remedy that falls under the uncertainty category, and it's called gentian. And this one is used for mild disheartedness when something goes wrong, and in your case, it sounds like that happens a lot at work, in your work environment, and sometimes at home. Some other symptoms include like self-skepticism, doubting, and uncertainty due to lack of faith in the moment. And then I have another remedy in mind. I was thinking of pine, and I'll read you what it says. So this one falls under the despondency or despair category, or self-blame. And the symptoms for pine is blame themselves even for mistakes by others, which you mentioned happens sometimes at work. You set high standards for yourself, and do you feel like that influences your anxiety to all these things and have guilty feelings in the moment? And this one, what pine does, it helps you acknowledge your faults but don't dwell on them, willing to take responsibility of things. Do you feel like these things could help you?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I guess another question to ask you is, how would you like to feel?
Just a little bit more confidence and less, like calmer mind when those things start to spiral up.
Yeah. Calmer mind. Would you say more courage in yourself when you know, you have a lot of tasks that comes up, more courage. And then do you think that could help make you less anxious in the moment?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, do you have any questions for me right now?
Are the droplets pretty strong, or are they like diluted at all, or?
Yeah. So I think I kind of explained the process of how they're made. Bach flower therapy isn't considered homeopathy. Homeopathy is treating like versus like, and homeopathy is usually pretty diluted too. But yeah, Bach flowers are made, you know, in a bowl of water and sitting out in the sun. It's really natural. It's safe. In a way, it is pretty diluted, but the effects are very potent too. And there's never been any issues physically from taking these drops, and there's no issues if you accidentally take too much or too little.
Sure. Yeah.
Does that?
It's kind of like a tea almost. Or?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, kind of like a flower tea. Yeah. No, they're really safe. And I know the mixture that I made it doesn't have any alcohol in it as a preservative. I put apple cider vinegar in it, so it's pretty safe. I mean, I would say if you had like issues with alcoholic brandy or you know, then I wouldn't put it in. But or if you have any, you know, contraindications with medications, but I know you're not taking any. And I guess another disclaimer is, you know, I'm not a doctor and I don't practice medicine. We just did this interview as a way to help support you and support how you're feeling at work, and maybe see if that will help you, you know, feel better in the workday, and maybe, you know, help your anxiety a little bit. Yeah. Do you have any more questions? Okay. Well, thank you for taking the time.